Welcome back to the podcast. We have a theme song already, but I always feel like I'm supposed to sing. But we can't hear it. I know. I always feel like we're not listening.
Maybe we should listen to it before we start recording so that we have it in our minds. Like, they just heard the song.
I don't know. It's that like middle ground that I always feel like, let's add a song.
Because it feels awkward to us.
I'm not overcompensating. I'm not.
It feels awkward to us. It's not awkward to anybody else.
Trying to fill in space with sound. No, not me.
Never.
Well, welcome to the podcast show, y'all. It is Matters Over Miles podcast show with your hosts, me, Mary Pat Smithson.
And me, Whitney Walker.
Dun, 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 dun. And today is season 3, episode 3. What are we talking about today, Whitney?
We are talking about the lovely land of Hawaii.
Oh, God!
Most often, whenever we say or post anything from Hawaii, people are like, the common thing is, really suffering for the Lord.
I think that not as much people, I don't know, some people say that, but like, I think that I've adopted it because I almost feel like I should feel guilty.
My grandmother says that to me every time I say I'm going to Hawaii.
Well.
Which we've been there how many times now?
5? Well, together,
You've been one more time than me.
I've been there a lot. No, I've gone on trips like without you because you went back home to California or something like that.
Yeah, but like we were there together and then you stayed longer or something like that. I think you only went out there once. Totally, like on just a personal trip, not
feels
like
a lot more. Maybe it's because I love Hawaii so much.
We also spend like a lot of time there though when we go. We were usually there for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Because it takes, a little bit of effort to get there.
Yeah. But Hawaii, man. God loves Hawaii. Whew. It's so beautiful. Like it's, I don't know.
It matches though.
It really does. I'm trying to like figure out. I know that some people haven't been there and I know that some people, if you haven't been there, you've seen pictures. So you're like, oh, really? And it's like, no, really. It's like that. Yeah. But the extra sauce stuff that we know now from being there and having friends that live there, it means something different to me when you say Hawaii.
Sure.
It means my happy place. It means simplicity. It means look around you and actually like absorb what's going on.
And it means really good fish.
It means that the sushi is incredible. But it also means like culture to me. Like it means Japan and it means Filipino people and it means Vietnam and it means like so many other things. It means Hawaiians, like just strictly Hawaiian people, Polynesian, South Pacific Islanders. It's like some of the most kind-hearted, simple people ever. And I also think of fierce devotion when it comes to Hawaii, that their people are like
very loyal,
in love with their land. It also means friendship.
Also, I mean, like
to me,
the parts of Hawaii that we have friends in Hawaii, kind of similar. If you watch the Thailand episode, it's not like too different. Like our way of traveling to Hawaii happened by way of just like friends that we have, and so we have seen the version of Hawaii that is like. Local. Like I'm not going to stay at a resort.
No, we've never done that actually. We've always slept on somebody's floor or a futon or the bed that was on the floor this last time, like the rooms, like it's not, but I love it. It's almost like I feel like I wouldn't quite understand.
Yeah.
I would feel removed a little bit. On
vacation there, it would be kind of like,
I don't know.
A little strange for you at this point.
I think it would be a very sweet thing. I still think we need to try it. Like when we went with Brianna to Kauai, our friend Brianna, and we went and stayed at those people's houses that she knows. That was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful house. But then when we went to the resort for like breakfast,
we have like gone
into
the resorts and like walked around and what's the Disney one? Aulani.
Yeah,
that was real pretty.
We also stayed though in Waikiki for the Hawaiian
true.
Islands Ministry conference,
we did stay there
and we did stay at a hotel there, a
couple nights
in Waikes, and that was pretty cool. But like, yeah, when I think Hawaii, I think local.
Totally.
Whitney got asked if she was a local, and it was the crowning achievement.
Best moments ever of touring and being in ministry, like being in a band. Like seriously, it's always. I think I always feel kind of like, oh, it's cool. Like when like you kind of blend in well enough to like the local community that you don't seem like you're just like a sore thumb. Like you can tell people in Nashville that are not from here, right? Like
right.
It's like you are in the airport and you can tell the people that are coming home and the people that are coming here for a vacation or something. It's like, yeah, you're definitely not from here.
Yeah.
So where were we? We're at
we were on Oahu.
Where's the Kaluha pig burritos? Where are those at? What's that spot called? Kona? That's on the North Shore. Is it just Kona?
It might be.
Kona Cafe or something like that.
I think maybe.
It was on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Those burritos are
ago.
bomb.
They have this thing called Kaluha pig in Hawaii. This is the part where we talk about food.
Oh, right. Let's transition into that.
It doesn't take long to get there.
So in all the other episodes we've done for this season, basically this season is all about just gentle recap.
Yeah.
All about the places that we've been, the people that we've met, the food that we've eaten, the coffee that we have drunk, and the stories that kind of come along with all of those adventures.
Yeah.
So this is the part of the show where we talk about some of our favorite food places in Hawaii. Oh God, it was so good.
It was in Kona Cafe on the North Shore where they have Kaluha pig. And if you don't know what Kaluha pig is, it's like it sort of is similar to like.
It's like pulled pork.
Like barbecue. Yeah. Like barbecue pulled pork.
It's
except
Hawaiian
for they make
barbecue.
It by like covering it in banana leaves and cooking it in the ground for
baby.
A really long time.
Oh, Kaluha pig's
so it's
so good.
Yeah, it's very tasty.
It's sweet and it's just like so much it's moist and rich and like, ooh, you eat it and it's like
it's not like full of sauce either. Like
no, it's just the pig.
Love
it's
American
pure pig.
Barbecue that is just like saucy.
Yeah,
you know,
because it's more about the sauce than sometimes it is about like what's going on
actually happening.
Not all the time. I'm not going to offend barbecue people who spend lots of
let's
beautiful.
Not go there.
Trust me, when we start talking about some of our other favorite places, Kansas City Joe's is.
Let's not even go there right now.
But go ahead.
That is where somebody asked me a question and assumed that I was a local.
Kona Cafe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was like, they asked me something like, oh, have you been to this thing yet? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, oh, are you not from here? I was like, no.
Such a
treat.
But
thank you so much for thinking that I am. That means that my tan is good enough to be from here. It means I'm like pretty chill and like gentle and kind. Like there's so many things.
You guys don't understand though. Whitney gets tan instantly. It's like she steps
I'm not
outside
tan right now though.
Oh, boo-hoo, because it's the middle of February. Hello, winter. But if we were to spend a week where there was sunshine all the time, we were outside, she would come back 3 shades darker because that's just what happens to her. Me, I stay unicorn pale all year round, where there's kind of like an iridescent like glitter glow. Like that's my version.
You smell different when you're in the sun though.
We've been friends for too long. That's not.
I can't even explain this one, but man.
You're so weird. Why did you say that? I'm telling you, that's what 14 years of friendship will do.
We have been.
But you do smell. You're so weird.
I mean, and it's not like she smells bad. It's not like she's been in the sun, so she's hot and she smells bad.
Okay, you know little kids when they go outside, run around in the sun,
it
blah,
makes
blah, blah.
Sense.
And they come back in and they're like, you smell like you've been outside. Not bad, but you're just like, oh, you smell like warm sun and running around.
There is like a scent to that.
It's fine.
And my smeller
is
pretty
am
tender.
Bummed out that you get to be 3 shades darker and all that I come back with is a new smell.
Mary Pat has a different scent in the summertime.
I'm I'm bummed out. Talk about our food places.
Wow.
This is ridiculous.
All right. Well, Kona Cafe, which I think I need to fact check the name of that. I want to make sure that that's right. Another place that we had a earth-shattering experience at.
Oh, I'm very excited to know about this.
Is a place called Opal Thai.
Wait.
It's pretty hard to like sometimes the wait is very long.
Oh man.
It has weird hours. Like they just will randomly close whenever they feel like they don't want to be open.
And they were in a spot near the North Shore and then they moved downtown.
Yep. Last time, whenever we tried to go there last time, it was closed.
You guys,
we don't know why.
This was the first introduction to Cal Soy because he made it for us.
Cal Soy, yeah.
Which we talk about in our Thailand episode, and you should totally go check out that
gave us a quiz. The owner, Opal comes by, talks to the table, and is like,
do you like spice? Do you like citrus? Do you like seafood? Do you like all this stuff? And then he makes you a meal based on your preferences.
And remember, he asked us to name 5 Thai food ingredients.
Right.
So we named them, and it was kind of like he was using that as a reference point of how much we knew about Thai food, so he could figure out how far he could push his boundaries.
Got real good points.
We did. Yeah. I don't remember why, but
probably I think it's because probably
because you said tamarind.
Yeah.
Which most people, who's going to know what a tamarind is?
Okay, it's when you order pad Thai, for educational purposes, and I'm not going to say it like a mean person that knows everything and everybody else doesn't, because I'm inspired by you saying that I smell different. I'm just mad at you for saying that. I'm processing. So tamarind is what makes pad Thai taste like spice, that orange. Right? Yeah, that kind of sweet flavoring. That's what it is. And he was like, "Oh, you know what that is?"
I'm pretty sure
we do, Opal. We do.
Coconut milk.
Yeah, duh. Lime, cilantro,
lime,
shallots,
onions, carrots.
No,
chicken.
All right. Anyways, so the dude.
So he quizzes us, brings out, and then he just proceeds to bring out
dishes.
All of these dishes, and it was amazing. It was world class. If you ever are on Oahu, you need to go. Find yourself at Opal Thai. It was amazing.
And that's another thing. Winnie and I have only ever been to Kauai and Oahu. Haven't been to the Big Island yet. Haven't been to Maui. And then some islands you can't even get to because you have to be Hawaiian. Which is awesome.
Yeah,
that's
really cool.
Awesome. Yeah. But one of the dishes that he gave us was stingray.
Yes.
And it was so good.
It was very good.
It was so
good. All right. Got to move on from Opal Thai.
All right.
The best sushi spot that I've been to there is called Kazoku.
Well, definitely best amount. I'm sure that there's better sushi places, but it was our favorite.
It was a revolutionary sushi experience.
Yes, it's one of our favorites.
It's one of
you to the Pierces.
The sushi trains, the little plates come around, so you don't have to get here. There are sushi train places in Vegas and California and some places, but they're pretty hard to find, and usually they're not that great.
They have them, in
the
those
ones
places,
that I've experienced have not been the best sushi I've ever had.
This one though,
this one was great. The plates were 2 or 4 pieces, so the purpose is you don't have to order a roll that has 8 of the same. If it's just 2 people, you don't want to only get a certain kind. So we went, and they have a thing called the lemon drop. Which is basically just your standard California roll with salmon on the top of it and a very, very thin, paper-thin slice of actual lemon.
You guys.
On it with the rind, the whole thing.
It's so good.
And this little drizzle of some kind of sauce.
It's a perfect bite.
Oh, I could eat right now, right this minute, if there was access to a lemon drop, I could easily put down 25 to 30 pieces of that.
That's another thing about Whitney. Her superpower is that she can eat more sushi than anybody else I know. I think that Jacob is the only person who can crush you under the table with eating sushi.
We'd go head to head. Well,
probably Josiah at this point, though.
Could eat a lot of sushi too. Our buddies out in Hawaii they can eat a lot of sushi. Along the same lines is poke. If you've never had real poke,
guys,
poke is not.
Poke is life-giving.
It's not supposed to be a bowl of rice with like 70 different things on it and 3 different sauces.
No, it's not.
So that it looks like a salad.
Hawaiian poke is rice with some sort of fish in a sauce, period. Maybe some red onion, maybe some topiko, which is fish eggs, maybe some sort of spicy mayonnaise sauce or shoyu.
But it's usually the fish is marinating in that. So they just put it on top of the rice, and that's all that it is. That's all you need.
So they have this grocery store there, Foodland, and help yourself. Go to any Foodland grocery store and just go to their fish counter, and they're going to have marinating poke, and they'll be able to put it on yummy, delicious rice, and it's so good. There also was a great place in Kauai that did poke, but I can't remember the name of it. That place was awesome.
That was a grocery store also.
And we got poke in a gas station on Oahu.
During we were there during 2020.
Oh, you guys,
and
lockdown
so everything
mode.
was like very locked down. And I remember walking into that gas station feeling like I'm glad I have a mask on right now because it is like seedy in here. But the poke was so good.
Jacob, our friend, he said that he found it, and they like some sort of shoyu that marinates. Like it's an aged shoyu.
Well, because it's fermented,
fermented,
so
right?
It's kind of like a kombucha. Like if you have like the starter and like a sourdough thing, like it just keeps on top of itself happening and it's been going for like decades.
And they put the fish in it, and you're just like, this has enough funk in it that it's not making me run away, but it is amazing,
mind-blowing fish eating experience.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
The last thing I think we wanted to say as far as food, well, there is like a great little smoothie shack on the North Shore also that, man, get the Macnut butter.
You guys, Macnut butter. Macnut butter in the smoothie. A Spiralina Macnut butter smoothie. Change your life. What is the name of the place?
I think it's called
Sunset
Smoothie? Smoothie, yeah.
Oh, you guys. The thing is that all of these places in
there's
Hawaii,
so many places. I mean,
there's
we didn't
so
even
many
talk
places.
About, Surf and Salsa.
Oh my gosh.
Surf and Salsa is another food truck that serves tacos.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
All we really do is eat.
Oh my gosh.
We love the Lord a lot, but I don't know if we'd still be here without food.
Amen. Honestly, like he has made some of the worst days bearable because of really good food, and I'm thankful.
Yeah.
You guys, Surf and Salsa, this California heart, it is exactly what I want.
What is the best thing about to you? Do you like the fries, the Tsunami fries?
No, you love the Tsunami fries. I love the puffy, crispy tacos. They make their own tortillas. They make all their own guacamole, all their fillings, all their salsas. Everything is homemade. And then they make their rice and their beans. And then these tacos. And you just... They're
it's
crispy
like you're
tacos.
Outside, it's always perfect weather.
You
it's
guys,
kind of like too much.
It is incredible. You have to go. Have to go to Surf and Salsa. Have to go. Oh my gosh, I'm so upset that I'm so far away. I'm thousands and thousands of miles away.
Nick Williamson will appreciate this. Shout out to Nick. The Tsunami fries at Surf and Salsa. They're just like regular French fries, but they have like crema on them and salsa,
cheese, shrimp,
and
steak, cheese, guacamole, this, that, salsa,
it's
everything.
Like nachos, but fries. Oh yeah, and it's got shrimp and steak on it.
I'm checking. Like my heart rate is up right now because I want Surf and Salsa so badly. Yes, coffee.
Coffee, yeah. So the one spot that I wanted to give a shout out for coffee is called Surfer's Coffee Bar. It's like
you guys
right
this place.
In the middle. It's not like what is the town? You remember the town that it's in?
It's in between Mililani
and the North
Shore. You gotta drive on.
It's been a minute since I've been there.
H2 to get to the North Shore.
And it's kind of
past the military bases and
right
stuff.
Where a lot of military people are around there because Pearl Harbor is very close by, and it's kind of like a little bit of like an industrial part of the island, like not super touristy.
It's where a lot of the people that get transferred for military stuff, that's where they live. That's like their neighborhood.
And Surfer's Coffee Bar, they serve Intelligencia coffee. Like you can get that, in
a couple places
any big city around
the
US.
world.
So it's not like super special in that way, but they serve great coffee. They're really friendly. They have great acai bowls.
Oh, they're incredible.
And like breakfasty kind of things, burritos and all that sort of thing. And then they actually work alongside of
Surfers International.
Surfing the Nations.
Surfing the Nations, yes.
Which is an organization that goes into closed countries to teach surfing lessons, and they're able to like share the gospel kind of like in this backdoor sort of capacity while they're talking about surfing.
I feel like in open places
they do it in open countries too, but they're able to do access into places where
it's really cool
be able to go.
But we have played at their open mic night
a couple times.
We got off the plane and grabbed our bags, and then we drove right to Surfer's Coffee, and we got on stage. Like it's definitely like just a beautiful local spot.
Yeah.
Also, Aloha Lemonade.
There's too much. There's too much.
I forgot.
We haven't even talked about Kauai. I mean,
we're just jamming on Oahu, but yeah.
Yes. So please go to Hawaii and eat
everybody, please go. Everyone, please go. Please go.
And you don't have to go to Hawaii and
please tell them that.
And have it be a 5-star, all-American vacation. Like you can definitely do that, and it's great. Like
there's Airbnb places that are beautiful, but then there's also our friend's place. They run a church on the North Shore, and there's like rooms for rent there sometimes. It's right across the street from the beach. And there's a million different ways that you can go and explore Hawaii, and you could do it in a way that's not going to like kick your butt.
Yep.
The plane tickets, sometimes even the plane tickets to get there, you can find decent deals.
If you go kind of like off season.
Yeah. But everyone should go. Just go.
It's a great experience. So you were going to talk about kind of the big ticket item, like each of these episodes we talk about obviously the fun things, but then also like what doing church and like being around people and experiencing the culture in these different places has helped us to add to our like holistic perspective of the human race, but also like the kingdom of God and the church. Like,
yeah, I think that a really good way to start is like a minute and a half long brief history of Hawaii. Hawaii used to be a nation on its own. Kingdom, like queens, kings, like running the whole thing. And I think the way that we've heard it from some people, not everybody, is that missionaries came over and introduced the gospel. And because of that, it kind of opened up Hawaii to the rest of the world. And then slowly, Hawaii was overtaken, and now it's a state of America, but there's still a lot of native
The history
Hawaiian.
of Hawaii is not like the same as the history of America.
No, it's not.
Like two completely different timelines.
Completely different things. And it was like a territory in like the 1950s. It wasn't even a state yet. And then it became a state like 10 or so years after that. I don't have but the reality is that Hawaii is not very old as far as being claimed by the United States. And I remember talking to my friend Brianna about this. Our friends Brianna and Jacob, they were the first people that ever asked us to come out to Hawaii because they're from there. It was she was telling me a story about an older lady who is like Hawaiian, who she was talking about just the history, not the brief, but the actual history of Hawaii. And she was saying how she's like, I'm thankful for those missionaries that they came because we got Jesus. There's a lot of other stuff that I'm like sad about, but we did get Jesus. And I was like, I think that was probably my first introduction to really seeing another place that had people that didn't look like me and listening to their experiences about what was going on.
Right.
And it really has shaped a lot of what has happened to me over the past 10 years because that's how long we've been going there.
Yep.
And to see the gospel in so many different cultural settings, like watching the Lord do all these different things in different places, watching him do stuff in Hawaii when we first got there, and our friends were working at a different church before they are now the pastors at the church on the North Shore, which is Sunset Beach. If you ever want to go, would highly recommend it. It's awesome. And our people they're solid. Like they love Jesus so much and they're loving their people so well. We can talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. But when we used to go to Mililani, which is like kind of smack dab in the middle of the island, we would stay with our friends. Like their burning desire has always been for people to experience the love of Jesus, to be radically changed by the love of God, what Jesus has done for them. And they do that in the context of Hawaiian culture.
Yeah. I mean, you have to.
And they are Hawaiian. Like they're locals. They've always been there. And they're not native Hawaiians, but they are
from Hawaii.
They're from
originally.
Hawaii. Yeah. I'm like trying to like describe it. It's like, wait a second.
They are not Hawaiian descent.
But they are.
But they are from Hawaii originally.
Yeah. Brianna's half Japanese too. So it's just all of these different types of cultures clashing. When we first came, I didn't know what to expect. It's like you go, oh, surfing.
Yeah.
Cool. Hawaii and palm trees. And that's about it. But what I didn't realize is that there's so much to Hawaii. And I'm not just talking about like going to a luau. That's not what I'm talking about.
Have we ever been to a luau?
We haven't.
I don't think we have.
We haven't, but we've eaten all of the delicious, yummy
we've
foods.
eaten all the luau foods.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't think that I knew what to expect.
So tell everybody what it is that like makes Hawaiian culture different than American culture.
Hawaiian culture is very simple. It is what it is. Like you have outside, you have the ocean, you have the mountains, you have the trees, you have the people around you, you have family, and that's what is celebrated. And the work of your hands and what you're doing right in front of you, and
music is a big thing too.
My goodness,
which is kind of cool. That's like a little side story. Is like a lot of times on the mainland, we don't play often in bars and clubs, and
I mean, people
we do every once in a while.
But like busking and different stuff like that, like that's super big in Europe.
Yeah.
Or like that culture is surrounded by music.
Yeah,
Hawaii culture is surrounded by music.
Yeah, so like often when we're there, like we play all kinds of places, and we just play our music, and everyone like freaking loves it. It's like because
so
they
cool.
just really love music in like all its different expressions. So we wouldn't be able to play in some of the same kinds of environments like here in Nashville and get that kind of a reception for it. But because people in Hawaii are just like so family oriented and like love music, we can play our music in any context and everyone's like, that was great, play some more.
Well, and our friend Jacob, he used to be a part of a band, Delta Fleet. And that was a way that we kind of got into all of that stuff as well, because he was the worship pastor at his church too.
Yeah.
So this kind of entrance into Hawaiian culture was strictly through music. And because we were kind of good at it, it worked. We played at bars and coffee shops and churches and people's houses and different. It felt a lot like Thailand, where it's like, oh, they'll just have you play
anywhere
everywhere.
There's a spot that we can play some music. Let's do it.
Yeah, but because Hawaii emphasizes so much of their culture through song, through stories in song, it resonated with people really well, because the stories that were in our songs
people actually are paying attention.
Yes, it's really cool.
They're
it's
not like
wait.
having 14 conversations and like drinking their beverage and
No.
like having it just be like a background event in a restaurant or something.
They're invested in what's going on. And you have people in bars or different places like Wykes and stuff where they're playing the Hanalei music and
Sure.
And it's just like, is that the right? Did I say it the right way?
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh, did I say it right? Where like everybody knows that somewhere over the rainbow, like that version, but like that beautiful type of music, not that specific song, but the style. And that's like not what we played, but
no,
I mean,
we definitely don't play that music.
No, but our friend Jacob didn't play that either. He did like
alternative
punk,
rock, punk.
Yeah, and it was awesome. And to see them play certain stuff and meeting their friends that all do music but
also like having people come from the mainland to Hawaii is kind of like a special thing that they value because big bands, like they don't have, nobody's going on tour and like making a stop in Honolulu. Like
it's a little far away and
it costs
expensive.
a ton of money to do that and to get all the gear out there. So when they have festivals and stuff, it's like a big deal if like, oh, one of my favorite bands is coming out here this year. Like live music is not something, especially not, like not similar at all to what's here in Nashville. Like where it's just like you can wander into any restaurant and it's good live music.
Well, and that's another thing. A lot of the stuff in Hawaii is imported.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of stuff in Hawaii that is strictly Hawaiian, but then everything else has to be shipped there. So there's like this weird juxtaposition of like, here's all the natural stuff that we have, and then here's all the stuff that has to come over on ships in order to get to this place.
Which I think this is like an interesting, kind of like segue back into like the difference between like the tourist culture there.
Yes.
And like the local cultures. Like the local people are like much more geared towards like the things that they have around them because they're way more affordable. Like they're not as expensive. You go to McDonald's in Honolulu, it costs like $13 to get like a double cheeseburger meal because all of that stuff is being flown in. So like when tourists go over there, you when you're on vacation, you're not thinking as much about like how much money you're spending and stuff like that. So you want the things that make you feel comfortable around you, which are the things that are back home.
Right.
So you go to a foreign place and you want the comforts of where you are from to be there. But in order for them to get those comforts, they're paying top dollar to import them.
Right.
And so that's why you'll miss out on some of the simplicity of Hawaiian culture if you go there under the auspices of just being on vacation, which, again, not knocking that. Like, that's totally fine if that's what you're doing.
It's beautiful, and everybody should do both things. But
the simplicity aspect of it is, like, very important. Like, I think it would be, like, a bummer to, like, go all the way out there and miss some of like what I needed to learn, I think, from like Hawaiian people and like living in Hawaii and that lifestyle, because it is very just like, you wake up in the morning and kind of like think about what you want to do for the day. And it's not jam-packed full of 14 different events and running around and like, it's kind of like, okay, well, this is my priority. And like, I want to go to the beach, not because it's like my like favorite vacation pastime, but because it's just like part of my life. Like it's
the rhythm of doing life.
It's like going for a walk.
Yeah, no, for real. That's great. That's a great way to put it. The rhythm of our friend's life is that Brianna, she was stay-at-home mom and doing homeschool and doing all this stuff with her kids, which was a really interesting perspective for us because we never were without her. Like we just always got to hang out with her.
Yep.
And Jacob would have days off or different things from work at church, and then we would all go do stuff together as a family, but we were always with the kids. And, they let us sleep in their kids' bedroom on the floor, like with like the Japanese futon mattresses, which they are the best. They're awesome for some reason. It's like, oh, I'm sleeping on the floor, and I slept so good.
Yeah.
And you're not doing AC because
it's really
too expensive, and you can open the windows, and there's usually a breeze. So you're doing that.
Yep.
And you know, you would pack up the yummy, delicious organic food
Yeah.
in the morning, cucumbers and carrots and like something left over from the night before. And we're all taking that. And then you fill up your water bottles, you chuck a few ice cubes into your hydro flask, and then grab your sunscreen. And then we head to the beach for the day. And it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't this magical thing. It was, this is our life.
Yeah.
And I also learned like how much stuff a person can have that you really just don't need.
Mm-hmm.
They had exactly what they needed for their kids. And like, because it's expensive in Hawaii, it's like, they just, in many ways, it's like, no, I just can't afford that thing. But like, they're driving around in cars that aren't super expensive. There's sand on the floors. They've got kids, like they're working cars. Like that's all that matters. Like God gives them free cars, you know, from other people in their church. And that's another thing, that like anything that they might have needed, somebody else was getting ready to provide it, because that was a part of their church family, but also because of culture.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you need this? Let me go check and see if everybody has one.
Right.
Perfect. You needed a crib? I found you a crib.
Yep.
Here you go. Or someone's moving and they're like, yeah, take the dishes. I have dishes from someone that was moving. They were like, do you want to take anything? I'm like, sure. And
They're from Texas.
I still use the
we
bowls.
transported them from Texas in our van, like, because we were staying down there. And yep, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's like we can get like pretty hung up on like being able to provide things for ourselves.
Oh my.
And like the need for something comes alongside of like the need to be able to get it like for yourself.
Wow.
Where, you know, when you're like in a spot where like there is community and things can be simple without like needing to feel like you're always like trying to get to the next thing and the next thing and the next spot in life, you're like way more open-handed to just be like, yeah, I need this thing. And like, however God provides it to me is great.
I just learned so much.
Yeah.
And I learned, I think that, no, I do know this. The inspiration for cooking the way that I do really started by going to Hawaii. One, I didn't know that we had a Costco in Nashville. I grew up with Costco in California, and when we moved to Virginia, we didn't really have a Costco that was near us.
Nope.
So when I went to Hawaii and we would go to the Costco in Hawaii, there's all this amazing stuff that's just strictly Hawaiian. And I was like kimchi and Macnuts and like certain types of rice and different things. And I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if we have a Costco back home. But also, Brianna she eats super healthy. So she'd get a lot of organic stuff and she would make smoothies in the morning. And
like their children don't drink soda.
No, but like kombucha.
But they drink kombucha.
We were introduced to kombucha and all these different things. And what it did is it jump-started me to be able to think about the possibility of doing something a different way. Hawaii has always been kind of like a jumping point for me to think of something different.
Yeah.
Even my friend Brianna, she has taken me on hikes and different things, made me jump off of like cliffs into waterfalls. And she doesn't give you a time to think about it because she's adventure Brianna. She's the sweetest, like funniest, kind of meek person I know. Just gentle in spirit, but like when you get her out in her element, she is wild woman.
Yeah.
And like the amount of freedom that she has when she's clicked to like go outside, it's like a flip get switch and you just have to hold on for the ride. And Hawaii, through her eyes, has made me a braver person.
Yeah.
I had to be because there wasn't a moment for
also,
me
their kids like climb all over rocks and like
they don't
run
wear
up
shoes.
and down
It's like,
mountains and
they're just these
are dunking their heads into like 5-foot swells, like which most parents over here would be like, ah!
Well, they're just like they're in the middle of a moment at all times.
Yeah.
And I think that what it did is it made me feel like I was extremely present.
Yeah.
Hawaii forces
I'm
you.
sorry for cutting you off before. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Thank you. No, you're fine. I appreciate that. I love you. Hawaii
makes you be present.
Yes, it had to. Because when Brianna and I went out into a no swim zone, we didn't know it was because we didn't see the flags. A lifeguard had to come rescue us because the kids were out there. They saw us like drifting, and he like calls from the blowhorn from his lifeguard saying, he's like, "Hey, you guys need help?" And we're like,
"Yeah,
I guess so." So he comes out and he paddles out, grabs the kids. He goes, "Okay, you guys good to swim back into shore?" And I just like, we're open water swimming, and I've never done this before, and we're in Hawaiian waters, and I'm looking at Brianna and I'm like, are we okay, or can we use the lifeguards? He's like, you guys will be fine, because like he could tell, I guess, that we were fine. That's my local
you don't
induction
look like
moment.
You're gonna die, so
you guys will be good. I was petrified the whole way back because the waves were decent, and there was a lot of rocks underneath of us, big rocks, with coral and sea urchins and different things. And I'm just like, don't touch anything, don't touch anything, don't touch anything. But the waves are kicking up so much sand that I can't see what's underneath me. So I'm going, please don't step on a rock. Please don't do anything. We get to the shore, and both of us lay down on the ground on the beach. And I just look at her. I was like, I'm really glad we made it. She's like, I was sketched out for a second. I was like, wait, if you were.
Yeah, I was not present for that.
No, this was
And if I was present for that, I would not be present here right now.
She would have been like, hey, lifeguard,
like,
I'm going to catch a ride on that board of yours, yeah?
Take me with the kids, please.
Take that. You have to take me. It was funny, but it wasn't funny, but it was great. But that's like, I have been challenged to be the bravest version of myself in Hawaii. Because you didn't know people. You just kind of have to like go out and do the thing. And there's so many people that are literally testing the impossible with the way that they surf and these big, beautiful cliffs and climbing, but even just like being resilient as people in general and just kind of like standing their ground and being like, no, we're Hawaiian and it's important. But it's changed my life in so many ways. I've been affected by it in so many different ways. And even with being present in the gospel and being willing to look people in the face and say, you're important, Jesus loves you, you should come to church, or you should hang out, or even when we're in bars and coffee shops and stuff, when we're wailing, just singing out loud about Jesus and the stories and inviting people into that space for them to be present too. It's like this weird, beautiful push-pull thing. It's like the surrounding environment made me present, but then this emphasis of the gospel story made it sink in even more. And I'm just like, I just feel surrounded by God in so many ways when I'm in Hawaii.
Yep. We probably should wrap it up there.
Yeah. Let me check on time real quick. Yes.
Can't see that.
I can. We got like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. What else? Anything else?
No, I think Hawaii is just like they're good at being present in the moment, which I think is why you're the bravest version of yourself. I think that's true for you, but I don't know that like that would be inerrant to anyone else going to Hawaii. But I think the reason that you are that version of yourself there is because you are like fully able to just be where you are, like present. And, like...
Wow, that's a revelation.
There's something intrinsically like heaven-oriented about that because... especially when you're like out in nature and stuff like that, there's a lot of connecting points that kind of just like draw you into like, humans are designed to be connected like to creation in that way anyway. So it kind of makes sense that you feel more capable of doing things like that. Otherwise, Mary Pat really is, she's kind of a chicken about some things. Like she doesn't like to walk over grates.
Okay.
In cities. Like if you're like walking down a side.
This is how we're going to end this by throwing me under the bus? I was fine with you calling me a chicken, but like.
I'm just trying to explain to people like why it's important for you that like you jump off of waterfalls and like down into like holes. And
it's important because I'm surrounded by people that have already gone before me, and I can trust them when they say jump.
Right.
And there's been a lot of moments in my life where people have told me to jump, and I go, but you've never done this before, and I don't trust you. But when I go there, and if you also are willing to trust the people that are Hawaii,
which I think is true of like a lot of things in life. Like we don't have as much control as we think we have.
No.
Like ever.
No.
So actually you being afraid to walk over grates is really just you being like, I don't really have very much control. Like
no, because I feel like I'm going to fall through.
And like
it's fine.
There is like an element to fear that is always tied to like feeling like you want to have control over what's going to happen to you. And when you are in a spot where you're actually able to like willfully just say like, I trust you. Sometimes trust is like you feel like, oh, I feel so safe and secure. Like you have like a sensation of like nothing is going to happen to me because like I really believe and have tested and seen that you are trustworthy or whatever. But sometimes trust doesn't feel like that. Sometimes like you feel actually kind of like scared while you're choosing to trust that you're going to do something that is like pretty outside of your norm, like jump off of a
you guys
huge thing.
We just get to the top of this point and then there's water underneath of us and she just goes. She doesn't say anything. She just goes. And I go, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do this.
Again, I would have died. There's like, I can't, me and water, like there's some things
I also don't like adrenaline things.
Yeah.
It's not.
Which is a bummer because if we were both like, if we could somehow combine my adrenaline junkie vibes with your physiology, it would be like, wow. But yeah, I think that your trust factor is like in you actually like trust that like what you're going to experience is like a good thing. And it's like worth being outside of your comfort zone, which is kind of cool.
And that is the definition of Hawaii.
Yeah.
Because we had no idea when we first were going what it was going to do and what was going to unfold. And ever since then, it's just been this grand unveiling of surprise in a really good way.
Yeah. We love you, Hawaii.
We love you. I love you, Hawaii. We love you. Wow. Thanks, guys, for joining us on this episode of Matters Over Miles podcast. It's a resource of Water Within Ministries, which is the nonprofit that we run that helps burnt out ministry leaders and their families get free counseling and resources to lead from a place of health rather than lack. If you want to know more information about that, we're going to have the, show outro letting you know, but you can always go to waterwithinministries.com to see all of the beautiful things that are happening, as well as following us on this podcast, YouTube, subscribing to this audio podcast, and also our Instagram account, Water Within Ministries.
Giddy up.
Online.
2 weeks from now, we will be releasing episode 4.
Yes. And we've got blog posts that are happening every other week in between those. True. So a lot of stuff to read, a lot of stuff to listen to, and a lot of stuff that's going on. If you know somebody that needs help counseling wise, because they're a ministry leader and, just need that place to be able to talk to somebody, they can also go to our contact page on waterwithinministries.com. We love you guys. Thanks so much for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Matters Over Miles podcast, a resource of Water Within Ministries. If you would like to be a supporter of the show, head over to water-within.com/WWM and click the donate button at the bottom of the page. All donations are tax deductible and greatly appreciated. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.